This is English shorthand dictation number 230 and the dictation speed is 160 words per minute. Ready? Start. Honorable Speaker, Sir, all the problems of climate change or global warming stem from the mistaken belief of the humankind that it is the master of this planet and it has a right to exploit the resources to satisfy its lust for the comforts and luxuries of life. Sir, the man is only a strand in the web of life and he cannot leave away from the web of life and use the resources only to enrich the humankind itself. On the international front, we have not been able to negotiate a fair deal. So, what is being demanded by the developed nations is that we should preserve our resources for them. They have plundered the resources. As pointed out by the honorable member who spoke earlier, the fair deal would have been to compensate the third world countries and the underdeveloped countries for the preservation of the resources that we are now expected to preserve for them, which have already been exploited and plundered by the West. That is not being done. We are very happy that we are being labeled or counted as the most developed nation, but we fail to realize that by doing this, they want to deprive us of the term of the deal that is expected to be negotiated. We cannot leave our forests and water resources unexploited only because it helps them. They have already done it in their countries as also in countries they have colonized. Sir, what is unique about the things like climate change? These things do not respect any political boundaries. It is not that political boundaries restrict the impacts of whatever is being done in a country. These do not respect political boundaries and not even geographical boundaries. If resources are plundered in some country, if emissions are done in some country, that is going to affect some other country somewhere else. As our country has a major say in the world affairs, my request would be that we should help in negotiating a just and a fair deal for the third world countries. Sir, there has to be a shift to sustainable development. We cannot eat up our resources. We have a duty to pass on to the next generation our planet and our resources, at least in the same manner that we had inherited in our preserves. That is not being respected domestically or internationally. We have ended up now as the third largest carbon dioxide emitter. So, when we take up a discussion on it, all these concerns are to be addressed. Honorable Chairman, Sir, climate change has become a threat to the humanity. It is an international issue. It is a crisis as well as a challenge faced by the humanity. Global warming is the biggest problem which we face today. Human beings are responsible for this. Earth is the only planet with a suitable temperature and climatic conditions where human beings and other living things can live. Every human being is having the responsibility to protect this earth. It is not only the issue of India, but it is the issue of the whole world. Not only Indians are facing these challenges, but every human being across the world is facing similar challenges due to climate change and global warming. We have different seasons like summer, winter, autumn and spring. These seasons are now very much affected, resulting in natural disasters. Humanity faces natural disasters in the form of heavy rain, heavy flood, severe cyclones, landslides and earthquakes throughout the world. Scientists have alerted us about these changes in nature due to the impact of global warming. We have to contain global warming. We have to reduce the increase in temperature. This is the responsibility which each one of us has to shoulder. Not only the government, but every citizen should understand his responsibility of protecting the earth. We should be committed to work with the international community. We should be committed to fulfill our promises and assurances which we make in the various conferences at international level. Sir, I thank you for giving me an opportunity to participate in this very important discussion on climate change. Given the rate of change in climate in our country as well as globally, we are likely to face irreversible impacts that will be a doom for the entire humanity, not only for the current generation but for the future generations to come. Therefore, my humble submission is that remedial actions on climate change should not be limited to international conferences or declarations or statements in the media. Tangible and visible actions should come before we reach the doomsday. We are responsible to the future generations. They should not blame us. Let us not be complacent. Increasing heat waves, droughts, erratic rainfall during the recent years are indicators. Depletion in the glaciers due to global warming has resulted in the rise of sea level. We should expect frequent and intense heat waves, extreme rainfalls, and erratic monsoons, as well as more and more cyclones, along with other weather-related calamities in the coming decades, as indicated by a report released by IPCC. There are various aspects which I wish to present to the House regarding this subject. But due to very limited time, I will only press upon one issue. All the major democracies in the world conducted special sittings and sessions in their parliaments or elected bodies to discuss this issue. I appreciate the initiative taken by this House to have a discussion on this topic under Rule 193. I also urge upon the government to have a special session to have a discussion on this issue. I take this opportunity to congratulate the Honorable Speaker for allowing us to take part in the discussion, because this is a very serious and important subject as far as India is concerned, especially in the light of Glasgow Conference. Sir, climate change is a phenomenon which refers to a change of climate attributed directly or indirectly to human activities, which alters the composition of global phenomena. According to me, climate change is due to the global warming, and it is having a direct link to the development process in the country. The concept of development has to be changed. The mindset regarding development has to be changed. The concept of development should meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. That should be the concept of development. Otherwise, nothing is going to happen. The summits or conventions or conferences or decisions or declarations made at the global level will never give fruitful results. So the concept regarding development has to be basically and drastically changed. The Honorable Minister is listening and having a patient hearing of the entire debate. I am thankful to him also. Honorable Chairman, sir, thank you for this opportunity to speak about an important issue of global warming. Our Honorable Prime Minister has clearly stated our viewpoint on this subject. He has also mentioned about the fact that how far India is committed on this subject. While we talk on behalf of the developing countries, we should not only put forth the arguments against the domination of the developed countries and their irresponsible behavior, but we should also place similar arguments as regards internal domestic issues. It has become an issue between the rich and the poor of this country. Whatever be the disaster, the poor people are the affected lot. Whether it is rain or flood or drought, the poor people are very much affected. Sir, India started COVID-19 vaccination drive on 16th January 2021. So far, 6 different types of vaccines have been administered in India. The statement of the Honorable Minister goes to show that 51% of the total population in India has already been administered 2 doses of vaccine. The Omicron variant, which has spread from South Africa, is creating great apprehension among the people. It is also learnt from media reports that some of the developed countries have started giving the booster dose of the vaccine. During the discussion under Rule 193 on COVID-19, I had put a very specific question, but unfortunately the Minister did not answer that question. I would like to know from the Minister the booster dose policy of the Government of India. Is it being insisted or will it be administered to the people? Other countries, especially the developed countries, have already started avoided giving the booster dose. Even after having taken 2 doses of vaccine, this virus is infecting the people. In such a situation, will it be mandatory to provide the booster dose of the vaccine? I would also like to know from the Honorable Minister the target for completion of 2 doses of vaccine. It is still less than 51%. What is the target fixed by the Government of India for the complete vaccination of the targeted population? Sir, once my state Kerala was declared by everybody as a model to the whole nation and even to the globe. But unfortunately, nowadays it is seen that more than 55% of the cases reported in the country are from the state of Kerala. The mortality rate is also very high. I would like to know from the Honorable Minister whether the Government of India, especially the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare or Indian Council of Medical Research, has conducted any research or study or analysis of the situation prevailing in the state of Kerala. If so, kindly give us the details.